The story begins with Lynn and her father, Mr. Mang, visiting the prestigious X-Tone College for an admission interview. Mr. Mang, a humble school teacher, proudly presents Lynn's achievements to the principal. He shows off her numerous awards and math competition victories, hoping this will secure her a spot at the elite school. He believes that studying here is the key to getting her into a top university like MIT. The principal is clearly impressed by Lynn's genius, but she wants to hear from the student herself. Lynn is honest. She says she would love to attend because it is a top school with wealthy connections, but she admits their financial situation is not great. She argues that a public school would be more practical since they can barely afford transport, let alone the high tuition fees. However, the principal sees Lynn's potential to bring glory to the school. She makes an offer, a full scholarship, including free lunch. Lynn accepts. To celebrate, her father buys her the school uniform and promises to support her, telling her that her late mother would be proud. However, Lynn has her own dreams. She tells her father she wants to study music in New York. Her father disagrees, insisting that MIT is a better path for a secure future, leaving Lynn feeling unheard and disappointed. The next day, during registration, Lynn meets Grace, one of the most popular and friendly girls in school. The principal assigns Grace to help Lynn settle in. They become fast friends, but Grace struggles academically. During lunch, Lynn solves a complex math problem for Grace in seconds, something Grace had been struggling with for hours. Realizing Lynn is a genius who could help her keep her grades up, Grace begs Lynn to tutor her. Lynn agrees. When the midterm exams arrive, Lynn breezes through her math test. She looks over and sees Grace panicking, unable to answer anything. In a split-second decision, Lynn decides to help. While the teacher isn't looking, Lynn writes the answers on an eraser, hides it in her shoe, and subtly kicks it backward to Grace's desk. Grace retrieves the eraser just in time. To return the favor, Grace tries to kick her own shoe back to Lynn, but she kicks too hard, and the shoe lands in the middle of the aisle. The teacher turns around. Thinking fast, Lynn stands up, walks to the shoe, slips it on, and hands in her paper early to distract the teacher. The plan works. After the exam, Grace is thrilled to get a 3.4 GPA, while Lynn scores a perfect 4.2. To celebrate, Grace invites Lynn to a party at her boyfriend Pat's house. Pat is a rich, spoiled star athlete. While hanging out, Lynn discovers that Grace told Pat about the eraser trick. Now, Pat wants in. He offers Lynn $200 for every exam she helps him and his rich friends pass. They promise to help her raise enough money to chase her dream of attending a music audition in New York, which costs about $112,000. Pat reveals his motivation. His father, a wealthy tech lawyer, is pressuring him to get into Columbia University and will cut him off if he fails. Lynn, being clever, accepts the offer. She uses her piano experience to create a secret hand signal system. She teaches the group simple finger movements that represent A, B, C, and D for multiple choice questions. It looks like she is just tapping her fingers on the desk nervously. The trick works perfectly. Pat's grades skyrocket, and his parents are so happy they buy him a new car. Grace also gets selected for the school play. Meanwhile, Lynn submits her audition video to Juilliard, the famous music school in New York. Her secret business is booming, and she uses the money to buy her dad new clothes. Grace shows Lynn a new mobile app idea that could expand their cheating empire. But before they can discuss it, Lynn is summoned to the principal's office. She is nervous, but when she arrives, she finds Bank, another scholarship genius student, already there. It isn't trouble, it's an opportunity. The principal tells them about a scholarship from a sponsor that allows the winner to choose any university in the world. She encourages both Lynn and Bank to compete for the single spot. That night, Lynn lights incense and prays to her late mother for strength. On the other side of town, Bank returns from a food delivery job. He sees a group of thugs smoking outside his mother's struggling laundry store. He politely asks them to move, but they ignore him. Bank pretends to call the police and the men leave, though the call was fake. The next day, a student approaches Bank at school. He claims to have a learning disability and offers Bank $300 to help him cheat during the exam. Bank, who is honest to a fault, refuses. The student begs again, admitting he tried to learn Lynn's hand signals, but failed. This reveals Lynn's secret to Bank, but he still refuses to help. During the exam, Bank notices that same student trying to copy off Lynn's paper. Bank stays silent, but then notices something strange. The test papers are different. He asks the teacher and learns there are two versions of the exam, Set A and Set B, to prevent cheating. This shocks Lynn's group, who only memorized one set of signals. Panic sets in. Lynn scrambles for a new plan. Bank finishes early and submits his paper, eyeing the cheater suspiciously. At 10 a.m., with 30 minutes left, Lynn finishes her version of the test. She signals the group to prepare. She broadcasts the answers for Set A using the hand signals. Then, in a bold move, she swaps her exam paper with the boy next to her who has Set B. She quickly solves the second version. With just 10 minutes left, Pat is sweating, silently praying for help. Lynn signals the answers for Set B. Even when time is up, Lynn keeps tapping, and the students keep writing until the teacher forces her to stop. top. After the exam, everyone celebrates, except Lynn. She is called back to the principal's office along with the boy she swapped papers with. Bank is there. He reported the boy for copying Lynn's answers. The boy denies it, but the principal is suspicious because he is the son of a state attorney and usually fails. The exam monitor enters and says cheating was impossible due to the different sets. The principal is about to dismiss the case when she looks at Lynn's scratch paper. She realizes Lynn solved both versions of the test on one sheet. Bank realizes Lynn is the mastermind. Lynn's father is called in. He is heartbroken. He begs the principal for forgiveness, promising Lynn will change. Lynn avoids expulsion because she is the school's star student, but the punishment is severe. She loses her scholarship and is disqualified from the prestigious Cartwright Scholarship competition. She is devastated. Her father scolds her at home, saying her greed for the music dream has cost her free education. He warns her to stay away from her friends and requests a class transfer. It is now their final school year. Lynn helps her father at their laundry shop while he drives Uber to pay her tuition. One day, Grace calls Lynn to meet at Pat's house for something urgent. When Lynn arrives, Grace introduces her to Pat's parents. They are incredibly grateful for how much Lynn tutored Pat. Now, Pat's dad wants one last favor. He wants Lynn to ensure Pat gets high scores on the STIC to get into Columbia University. In return, he promises to pay for Lynn to attend music school in New York. Lynn is tempted but plans to say no. She wants to graduate honestly, but Grace interrupts, telling the parents Lynn needs time to think. Later, Grace tries to convince Lynn, suggesting they could all move to New York together. Lynn thinks cheating on an international exam is impossible, but while watching the news, she realizes something crucial: time zones. The exam happens at the same local time everywhere. Sydney, Australia is hours ahead of Thailand. If she takes the test in Sydney, she can send the answers back to Thailand before the test even starts there. The next day, Lynn pitches the plan to Pat and Grace. She will fly to Australia, memorize the answers, and text them during the breaks using a hidden mobile phone. But she needs $180,000 for the operation, plus $70,000 for her father. Pat agrees. However, Lynn realizes she can't memorize the whole test alone. She needs a partner with a photographic memory. She needs Bank. Meanwhile, Bank is returning from a delivery when he is attacked by thugs in an alley. They beat him up and throw him in a dumpster. He misses his scholarship interview and is devastated. Lynn approaches Bank at his mom's shop. She apologizes for his bad luck and offers him a chance to join the heist. The money could save his family from poverty. Bank, desperate and angry at the world, agrees. He demands $150,000 and the team accepts. The plan is set. Lynn and Bank will fly to Sydney. They need fake passports to stay anonymous. Bank knows a guy who can make them. Lynn creates fake permission slips for school. They practice memorizing answers and texting them on flip phones hidden in their shoes or toilets. They rehearse their cover stories if caught. During practice, Pat accidentally reveals a detail about the dumpster attack. Bank realizes Pat hired the thugs to beat him up so he would miss the scholarship and be forced to join the cheating ring. Bank is furious and attacks Pat. Lynn is shocked but tries to keep the team together. Bank tries to leave, but realizing he has nothing left to lose, he decides to finish the job for the money. Lynn and Bank fly to Sydney. They check into a hotel, but Lynn gets a message that the exam center has changed and security is tighter. The next morning, they arrive at the new center. Their fake passports pass inspection. Inside, they hide their phones in the toilet tanks. The first section begins. Both geniuses finish early and memorize the answers. During the break, they rush to the restrooms to text the answers to Pat and Grace in Thailand. Lynn sends hers, but Bank stops. He texts Pat demanding an extra $100,000 immediately, or he won't send his half. Pat, panicked, transfers $50,000. Bank sends the answers. Back in Thailand, Grace and Pat print the answers as barcodes on pencils and distribute them to their clients. Section 2 begins in Sydney. There is no break before Section 3. So Lynn and Bank must memorize Section 2 and text it quickly. Bank rushes to the restroom, but he takes too long. A security guard bangs on the door. Bank panics, breaks the toilet lid, and tries to flush the phone. He gets caught. Lynn enters the restroom, but finds it crowded. She realizes Bank has been caught. She is on her own. She hides her phone in a water dispenser instead of the stall. Now, she must memorize the remaining sections alone. Inside the exam room, she sweats under the pressure. To calm herself, she imagines playing the piano, converting the answers into musical notes in her head. She finishes the test, but needs an excuse to leave early. She sticks her finger down her throat and vomits, pretending to be sick. The proctors let her leave. As she exits, she sees Bank being dragged away by security. She runs. She retrieves her phone, but is spotted. A chase ensues through the subway station. She disguises herself with a jacket, but drops her phone when hit by a car. Miraculously, the phone still works. She sends the final answers just seconds before the test starts in Thailand. Lynn flies home. She checks her Juilliard admission status. She got in, but the victory feels hollow. At the airport, Pat and Grace are celebrating. They mention the New York trip, but accidentally reveal there was never an apartment for her. They lied to use her. Lynn feels betrayed. That evening, the news breaks. The STIC exam in Thailand is cancelled due to a cheating scandal in Australia. A retest is ordered. Lynn meets Bang. He wants to continue the business, suggesting they start a massive cheating empire for university exams. He threatens to expose Lynn if she refuses, but Lynn has changed. She refuses to be part of it anymore. Lynn confronts Pat's father. She presents evidence of the cheating and links him to the thugs who attacked Bank. She makes a deal. He must pay for the students' retests, help Bank with his legal issues, and leave her alone. Pat's father, realizing he is cornered and impressed by her boldness, agrees and even offers her a job in the future. The movie ends with Lynn walking into the STIC investigation office. Her father is waiting for her. She sits in front of the camera, ready to confess everything. She chooses integrity over money, finally free from the lies. Thanks for watching.